Hey everyone, I haven't been on for ages. I wanted to come on again. I have been doing some experimentation with my blood sugar, and I have been doing some experimentation with kind of mixing things up a bit, eating in the mornings, not doing so much intermittent fasting, then doing some intermittent fasting again, but varying the times, because I found I kind of hit a plateau of even motivation and also in the actual diet itself. So my observations is that blood sugar will always regulate itself. So even if you don't have any carbohydrates, most of the time I'm lower than 5 grams of carbs a day, definitely lower than 20. And I have varied that now over the last while and gone up to 200 grams, gone down 50, averaging maybe 3-4 days a week where I would have some carbs. Varying carbs. It might be usually not rice or potatoes or anything like that, but it might be something like a bag of crisps. It might be something like a bar of chocolate or something like that. So it would be something that is not at my dinner. I've gotten so used to eating my dinner and my lunch or whatever without carbs that I would have a bagel occasionally. So I've just kind of mixed it up to see how does my blood sugar handle it now that I have become insulin sensitive. And it's also because I'm coming into my 3rd year. I'll be 3 years in May on the ketogenic diet. Yeah, is it 3 years? Wow. And or is it 2 years? I'll have to look that up. There's a whole year past there that I can't remember. It's not good. So you also come to a stage where you feel like, oh my God, like, is this it? It becomes so regular. It's like anything. So it becomes kind of regular. And then you become, I wouldn't call it bored, but you just wondering what your life was like before. So what was my insulin resistant life like before? And can I go back to being insulin resistant a little bit? It's actually quite hard. So that's good. That's very, very good. And my blood sugar handles really well. And there's certain things, obviously you eat a bar of chocolate, your blood sugar goes up and my eyeballs hurt. I never noticed that before and I can see why people get glaucoma from sugar. A lot of your eye health, I have discovered, and I have been researching as well. I've been researching madly. I've discovered a lot of eye health, things like glaucoma, is too much sugar in the blood over time. So the problems, like people kind of argue that ketogenic diet, it's not fixing something. The problem is those things have happened over time. So if I have high blood sugar, it could take 10, 20, 30 years. It's generally 20 to 30 years of constant pounding where you'll see an early indicator, which could be in your 40s or 50s. But over time, most of us, particularly women, and this is why women don't get as many heart attacks in their kind of 60s or 50s, is that women tend to go on diets. So that's good. That's good. And even if it's not a ketogenic diet, women tend to go on diets of whatever kind of starvation for a period of time, which cleans out their system a little bit and delays the onset of the problems that will come from this sugar bashing in your blood. So I took some carbs. I would sometimes not feel any blood. I'm so sensitive now that I can tell if my blood sugar is going. So there's certain things that I would eat where I would feel the blood sugar spike, and I would always feel it. If it was a really high spike, I would feel it in my eyeballs. They would be so painful at the edges, around the edges. So can you imagine that bashing all the time? So if I'm constantly eating carbs. So it was a reminder to me, even though there was a little bit, I was the rebellious child, I really, after a while, if I'm doing something, I will rebel against it. Now, walking, I was very resistant to this notion that walking actually helps this. And I didn't want to accept that because I am so lazy. I do not want to walk. But then I could walk 20,000 steps. I am just very kind of random like that. So I don't really like this regular, consistent stuff. And at the same time, what I would say is if you do have a very high blood sugar spike and you're desperate to get rid of it, I would definitely say something like walking kind of quickly or whatever does actually work. Now, do I want to eat carbs at dinner time and go for a walk afterwards just so I can eat carbs at dinner time? That's not going to happen. I find in general, cycling back onto ketogenic diet makes me feel so much better. Definitely there is a kind of an aging. If you're eating a lot of sugar, I definitely notice it in my skin. I'm kind of chubby at the moment because I have been eating some carbs over the last few months. This is not just in the last couple of weeks. This is in the last few months where I've been really ramping up taking these extra carbs. But I have also would have a good bit of time of intermittent fasting, and then I would have carbs. And with the ketogenic diet, you might still feel really well, but with the carbs, you kind of get, it's like your balloon bursting. I can't really describe it, but even if you've done good intermittent fasting, 16, 18, 20 hours, then you eat a big pile of carbs, it kind of undoes it in some ways. I know that sounds kind of tragic. It's not that tragic, but it kind of undoes it in some ways. So there is a great learning to be had to become insulin sensitive and then to be able to control your blood sugar. So my blood sugar, I got a blood test there recently. My A1C was pretty good. It was a little bit higher than it was at the previous one where it was full keto, but it wasn't over the top. I think it was 3.6 or 36 or something like that millimoles we use in Ireland. So there's definitely, it's good to experiment, but then it's very challenging when you cycle back into something and you're not sure where you're going with it. I probably should have made a plan where it's like, oh, I'm only doing this for a couple of months. Whereas it has dragged on a little bit now where I have gone from one experiment to the next and kind of going, yeah, I'll try a bit of this, I'll try a bit of that. And quite hard to get back into a regular intermittent fasting. So I've found a lot recently that I've had to eat breakfast in the morning because I had carbs the day before. Whereas before I always was not eating until maybe between, I would say 10 and 1, but it was really closer to 1 o'clock. And then sometimes I'd leave it till 3 or 4 o'clock. And then I would be trying to fit in two small meals before 8 o'clock or before 6 o'clock. So my general window would have been 1 to 6 or something like that, 2 to 6, would be generally 4 to 6 hours. So it's kind of hard. When you eat carbs, you are more what I would call moreish. You want something the next morning. So it's very hard not to have carbs the next morning. So if I have some chocolate bar on a Tuesday night or Tuesday evening, the next morning I'm going to be mad. I can handle it. I can sleep well. I can do okay. But in the next morning, I'm frantic for something because the carbs make you want more carbs. Whereas if you're in the ketogenic flow, which I was for definitely a year, probably a year and a half, where I was really in the ketogenic flow. I was doing keto consistently. I was not eating carbs. I was not breaking at all. You are very nice and even, which is lovely, and it really suits me, but I am not very disciplined. I can be very, very all over the place. And once I fell off the wagon, it was a little bit hard to go back again. So I'm going to try and go back, not right now, not immediately, but I'm trying to go. So overall, I would say ketogenic diet is so good for your figure, is so good for your brain, so good for... Now, how I have combated it a little bit is I am taking quite a few supplements. I have my supplements list here. These are the supplements I am taking consistently at the moment that have really changed things. You see, this is the thing about the carbs. This can hide some of that. So obviously, for me, diet is not enough. If you're only on the ketogenic diet, you have to be on these supplements. And that is in my experience. And a lot of people will say, oh, you shouldn't have to take supplements. We do not live in a world with extremely fine nutrition. I do not have time to be standing around all day making exactly the right mix. I'm not Brian Johnson. So I don't have that time. Now he's taking 120 tablets. How many am I taking? Like probably 25, 30 in total. So the supplements I'm taking are collagen, L-Glycine, Metyl B-12, L-Cystine, vitamin B complex, bariatric multivitamin. Now, I don't take that one all the time. I kind of take it every second day. I bought it by accident. I don't have bariatric surgery. I didn't actually fully comprehend what I was buying. It just looked like it's a very good supplement if you've had bariatric surgery. It's called bariatric multivitamin and I got it on High Herb. I'm not going to continue using it once the bottle is empty, but it is a very good one if you're not really taking anything else. You feel a tiny bit high or something from it because the nutrients are so dense, because you probably really need them, because you're definitely not getting enough nutrients if you have had bariatric surgery. So that's a bariatric multivitamin with iron. Magnesium lysinate, glycinate. I take that. It's really brilliant. Benfotamine, which is a B1 fat soluble. It's a kind of a fake vitamin, but really, really good. CoQ10, daily amino acid, vitamin D3 and K2, Iodine PLus liquid, collagen for joints. It's a slightly different one to the other collagens for hair, skin and nails. Alpha lipoic acid, which is a game changer. I had been on about liposomal glutathione, but actually alpha lipoic acid, I think, is a slightly better one and helps make your glutathione, but you do have to watch your vitamin B. So I would take a vitamin B complex as well with that one, a good one. I had been buying very cheap vitamins. Some of them are okay, but I have discovered, say, things like magnesium and stuff, you need to get the proper one. I get them all on iHerb. They're pretty cheap. Resveretrol complex. I actually think that's amazing. It's a polyphenol. It's hotly debated whether you should take it or whether you shouldn't. I decided to try it. I noticed a difference in my gut, in my bloating, in my feeling of wellness. I cannot explain it to you. It seems like a nothing burger, or that it should be, but it just seems like great. I got a massive big tub of that California Gold. Omega-3 fish oil, I am consistently taking that. I really think that is amazing for your skin and for your brain and stuff. Essential electrolytes, which are important if you're drinking a lot of water, which on keto you drink. Now, since I started eating carbs, I'm not drinking as much water. There's another thing. So you're not getting that flushing feeling of cleaning out your system, you know. Super enzymes, I only take them occasionally. If you have any kind of discomfort and you haven't been on keto and you've been trying to flush out your system, I would take super enzymes. You might end up going to the toilet a little bit quicker, so don't take them regularly, but just take them to get your stomach going. Lutein and zeaxantin, very important. Game changer. I've noticed such a substantial difference in my eye health. It's particularly, say, with the LED lights in the car and I'm driving at night. I was starting to hate driving at night because of those bloody LED lights, but now no problem. Eye strain, nothing. And I notice when I'm not taking it. So there you go. So because I bought it, then I stopped, didn't buy it for a couple of weeks. It takes a while then on iHerb to come again. Noticed a massive difference. Even after 3 days, I noticed a difference. So lutein and zeaxantin. So if you just see lutein, it will just check the back of the pack. It normally has zeaxantin as well with it. It's just made from marigold petals and stuff like that. Glucosamine, Chlondroitin, MSM and hyaluronic acid all in one. It's a California Gold one from iHerb. Very, very good for your joints. I have zero stiffness. Since I went back on carbs intermittently, the first thing I will notice the next morning is that I'm stiffer than if I am on full streamlined keto and I'm doing my, bits of walking and stuff. I do not feel any stiffness. Zero. But when I go back on any kind of carb, I feel stiff. So I know I'm going to pay for it the next morning. So I kind of say, right, okay, I'm going to eat this. I know I'm going to feel some stiffness the next morning. And I think the stiffness is from my joints swelling up. I feel that they're gone a bit puffy. And you get so good. I'm so long on keto that I can tell straight away. I used to wear a CGM and I remember predicting that what's going to happen. I don't have diabetes or anything, but I got a CGM for a laugh. And now I don't even need a CGM to tell you if my blood sugar is high or low or whatever. So Acetyl L-Carnitine, I don't take that all the time. Somebody said it was good for something. What did I say here? I have a list, my Excel spreadsheet. I said cognitive function and nerve pain in older adults. Oh, yes. I started taking L-Carnitine because of nerve pain. I don't have much nerve pain, but if I go and take, if I say have carbs, I notice my hamstrings would be annoying me. Whereas when I was on full keto and I was taking supplements, I have no nerve pain. So, or no kind of those little niggles and all of that is gone. So I took the L-Carnitine. I do think it makes a difference. I cannot tell you why I say that, but I do think it makes a difference. It just feels like it just feels, I cannot tell you, like I notice some of these are the ones, I've taken loads of other supplements, but these are the ones that, sorry, I can't even say there. These are the ones, this is my own Excel spreadsheet, that lasted the distance. Now there's one or two of those that I wouldn't have to take all the time. Like the CoQ10, I don't know if you need to take that all the time. The multivitamin, definitely not the bariatric one. I have gone back to the Tesco iron one for the next time, which I find fine because I have so many other good vitamins. I do take a vitamin C and zinc tablet. I should have it down there. I don't have the vitamin C one. I do take a chewy. It's not chewy, but it's a chewable vitamin C tablet, which I missed. I had taken it off the list, but I missed it. So I put that one back on. I haven't it written there. But the acetyl L-Carnitine, I don't know why I noticed a difference. I definitely noticed a difference. And the alpha lipoic acid for brain, for clarity, for sharpness, for not feeling like you can't do something, I would say absolutely brilliant. So there's some brilliant ones there. I have talked before about liposomal glutathione, which I think is amazing. But it's just very expensive. And also I don't know, I ended up using it a lot, whereas with the alpha lipoic acid, I just take it in the morning. I take it without taking my other supplements because sometimes it can kind of contraindicate. Apparently, it can be a detoxifier and take out heavy metals. So if I take zinc and vitamin C, the alpha lipoic acid will wash out the zinc. So I need the zinc for my hair, skin, and nails. So I don't take it with that. So the alpha lipoic acid has a kind of a half-life of 12 hours or something like that. So I take it in the morning, and then maybe about 6 hours later, I would take the rest of my supplements, which is a dose. It's a dose. I take them all together. I'm shoveling them down. I'm probably going to choke on a fistful of them. But to me, the experimentation of the last year has been absolutely brilliant. It has involved the supplements and involved kind of cycling in and out of whether I am insulin sensitive, which I am 100% insulin sensitive, which is a great place to be, but I don't want to take it for granted. The supplements, in my opinion, having been on all this journey for 3 years and having not taken supplements the first couple of years, supplements are essential. You have to have supplements with your diet. And I'm not just talking about a ketogenic diet. I'm talking about overall, you have to have some. We just don't have the nutrients in our modern food. I'm not sure they were ever there. The supplements make me feel better. I feel incredible. I feel more incredible than I thought. I felt incredible before I started doing the supplements seriously. I'd been dipping in and out of them, doing a bit of this, bit of that. But this group of supplements that I have now suit me absolutely brilliantly, and I feel peak all the time. Sorry, this video is going on way longer than I expected, but it's good to be back, and it's good to see I'm going to keep on the ketogenic journey. I will say if you go on collagen, you will put on weight. It will not be fat. It is probably building up your joints, building up the collagen in your joints, building up. Now, there's lots of arguments from people like Dr. Gundry, who I love. And he says, if you take collagen, it's not going straight to your collagen in your joints or in your spine. I would beg to differ because I feel like my spine health, my hip health, my elbow health, my wrists, everything, I do feel that the collagen, however it got there, it has to have come from the collagen supplements. That's where I started taking that, and the vitamin C. And I have excellent mobility, but you will be heavier on the scales, and it is from your organs they need collagen. Everything in your body needs collagen. So it's going to be some of it from the collagen settling where it's supposed to be. So you need to be able to handle it. Of course, I'm a good bit into keto. I can handle it a little. Well, I don't love it now, but I can handle it. But you do need to be aware that some of those things are not fat. It's not a fat thing. I've definitely put on fat on my back on my arms. Now, I don't work out. I do walking. It's brilliant for my health, but definitely I used to work out before. It makes a big difference. I probably would be much more shaped on the same diet and not showing that fat that I have there with with the having increased carbs. So, and of course you're wearing down your glycogen and stuff like that. So you're probably going to be using up your fat from the intense workout. So all of those things considered, I think the ketogenic diet is the best. Now, my ketogenic diet is heavy on the fiber side. It's quite heavy on the meat and fiber. I'm not anti-fiber. I'm not carnivore. Also, it's not 80% fat. I have my own Cate's keto, which is kind of like the Mediterranean diet crossed with the ketogenic diet. The ketogenic diet technically is very high fat, and it's for people with epilepsy that's what it was kind of invented for, who were able to then sort out their problem. If you have Parkinson's, any kind of nerve problem, I would say go on strict carnivore if it's something you need immediate help. But you should cycle back into a type of ketogenic diet that I do, which is a reasonable diet where you can manage in the modern environment. The people that I follow a lot of people, I read a lot of people's stuff, and carnivore to me carnivore is fine. And in the short term, carnivore is great. I've done it myself, but it's excessively boring. And the people who do carnivore are excessively boring. Sorry, guys. They are kind of like the zealots of, the breastfeeding zealots and the anti-vax zealots. They're kind of like the zealots of, it is all or nothing. It's not all or nothing. It's not always all or nothing. Sometimes it's just is what it is. Sometimes you're stuck out somewhere and you've got to eat in that restaurant with the shitty carby food, and don't complain about it. You're not going to die because you had carbs that one day. You're not going to die because you drank a latte, with cow's milk, and the lactose is driving your eyeballs into the moon with pain. Nobody died. So you should take a reasonable approach. Also, and this is a fact in my opinion from my experimentation, is that you cannot really be creative without carbs and probably some alcohol. You can't really. Ketogenic diet is very functional. The carnivore diet is even more functional. Those people are so boring. Almost, oh my God, I'm sorry. No, they crack me up. And I admire them, and it's so good. I know people that have lupus, and I know people who have Parkinson's and stuff, and they should go carnivore straight away for a month. But you should then be able to have some normal food, have some lettuce, have some chopped carrot if you want, or whatever it is. Have a few berries. I don't have the other kind of fruit. I usually just have berries. If I have it at all, I have it maybe 4 times a year. Have a piece of cheesecake, lads. Relax. If you had a bit of sugar, you're not going to die from it. But I definitely think that if you want to be creative, that you might need to just occasionally break loose and just, have a good time. Have a good time. And it doesn't matter if people are not on the same sheet as you. We can all live our lives and be perfectly happy. And sometimes if I claim I'm keto and then you see me having a scone and jam in somewhere and a latte, it's okay. It doesn't matter. It's part of the fabric of life. And I actually think it's good for you. It's why our ancestors used to, if they found an orchard of apples or if they found a beehive, they would gobble it up, because it helps you to survive. We are designed to store a certain amount of fat. I comfort myself a lot with the new fat that I have developed. I comfort myself that if there was a crisis, I would be fine for a while. So I wouldn't die of starvation straight away. So it's good to have a little bit of a laugh as well, and to understand that it's not that deep. It's okay to experiment. It's okay to go off piste for a while and say, right, maybe this is working, but maybe I need to go back to basics and see what I did before. And is that really as bad as I thought? Yes, I would say yes. White processed foods, beige foods in general, I would kind of stay away from them. Of course, if you have them occasionally, that's perfectly fine. But they definitely do trigger your insulin. They trigger your blood sugar, and then that triggers the insulin. If it happens a little bit, you're not going to have a serious issue long term. So let's say I have 3 weeks of eating carbs. I've been keto, I've been good. I'm not going to have a stroke in 10 years' time because I ate 3 weeks of carbs. So you need to have a bit of reason about it and think, yeah, okay, I ate carbs for a while. I was on holidays. Now I'm going to flush out again. Okay, it took me a little bit longer. Maybe I had a bottle of wine the following week or whatever it is. Maybe I had some crisps, some chocolate. It's okay. Don't sweat the small stuff. Don't sweat the small stuff. But definitely, if you're on this journey as well, I would definitely look into the supplements. I would start experimenting. I have definitely learned a lot about some of the good supplements like Metyl B-12, which I didn't really know about. So I've spent a lot of time and energy, and I always research properly. I look at both sides. I cross-reference, and whatever ones are giving me the data as well as anecdotal evidence and the most come together to say this might work. I then experiment myself, and then I say, yeah, this one works. This one is making a difference. I sometimes cannot tell you exactly how. I could say it's brain clarity. I could say I'm not feeling any nerve pain in my hamstrings, and these are real feelings, but I couldn't tell you exactly because I don't have a scientific device to tell me exactly what that is. But for the most part, I believe even on the full ketogenic diet that I was on with no carbs, which is brilliant, and I'm so good, I still need these and I would not give them up. In fact, I think I'll be on bread and water to just afford them. But they are expensive. It is expensive to have that many supplements. And I could cut that list in half probably, which I am actually planning to do, is to go right down to absolutely what I need. But for the moment, this is the list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 21. I could probably minus 2 or 3 out of that I don't take all the time, but 21 supplements that I think are necessary for a very healthy life. And getting my bloods back recently proved to me that that's absolutely true. So that's it, guys, for the moment. I'm going to continue to experiment. I'm hoping to cycle right back into keto in a very strict way coming up to the summer. I haven't really decided yet. I think it'll probably be mid-April before that happens. But for now, this is my, from all of my research, is that you can have as much good food as you want, but you will not succeed as well as you want. I mean, the way I feel now compared to before even, I didn't even know you could have a clearer brain. I mean, I was on clean keto, washed out my system. I was on it for a full year and a half or whatever. I was at my absolute peak fitness, looked amazing and like figure amazing. But definitely it makes a difference. And I wish I could do all the experiments, the long-term experiments to tell you exactly scientifically, to give you data so that it would be absolutely believed. But definitely. And very good news about the American food pyramid. I hope we bring that in here. It's very kind of keto based. That is what we should be eating. We should have the grains at the little bottom corner, not at the top. So we, well, they're at the bottom, but they're at the bottom. The pyramid should have the good whole foods at the bottom. But the modern food, I think, does not have all of the stuff that we need. All right, guys. See you later.